Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, councils, fellow compatriots from Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Liberia, Guinea, if you're here. Thanks for putting this together where we can come and talk about Ebola and what it means to our country or our countries. We already have spoken about everything I need to tell you from Sierra Leone because it seems like you guys are well informed over here. However, I want to take a different twist to the conversations that have been going on. We had shared some documents earlier. One of them looks like this, and the other has numbers from the USAID. And I want you guys to turn to a particular page, page 5. You don't have this one? We do have some numbers here that speaks to the funds that have come from the United States to the region. And as I look down the list of location, I have counted about 11 or 13 items going to Liberia, and about 4 going to Sierra Leone and Guinea, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 also. And I know we're talking about, equality and fairness and all that good stuff. You would think that perhaps because Sierra Leone was a British colony, you would expect them to go to London and with cap in hand to ask for funds or resources for this Ebola epidemic in our country. Now, that's one observation I have made. Another one, again, from the United States USAID, shows Sierra Leone on page 4. If you don't have the documents, I'm sorry. But on page 4, it says that the United States government has contributed $98 million plus to the region. And to date, the United Kingdom, a meager $6 million, almost $7 million. And if most of these monies are going to the region, particularly to Liberia, it gives me great concern as a Sierra Leonean. And I don't mean to put Liberia on the spot, but I mean to put Sierra Leone, where it's supposed to be, particularly as it relates to America. Because many of you guys may not know this, but of course Liberia and America has strong relationships today, but I'm here to offer a different line of thought with regard to relationships between Sierra Leone and America, which in my biased opinion, is even stronger. It's even stronger than what the Liberians offer. So, some of us may have heard of Bonds Island. It's a little island in Sierra Leone, 17 miles deep in the river, Sierra Leone River, which is the largest natural bay in the continent of Africa. From 1670 to 1808, it operated as a slave castle. So many strong, healthy Sierra Leonean men and women were taken from there, brought to South Carolina and Georgia. Yes. Rice farming, because we had those skills. The rice industry was the first successful industry in the United States of America. So we helped to build America, Sierra Leoneans. Also, we impacted the history of this great United States when the Americans and the English met in France to sign the Treaty of Paris. Because Richard Oswald, the British man who owned Bonds Island, used to send slaves from Sierra Leone, directly from Bonds Island to South Carolina, Charleston, and they were sold by his partner called Henry Lawrence, who sold these slaves from Sierra Leone, and he was paid 10% commission. Well, over the years, these two guys got rich, very rich from selling Sierra Leonean slaves. Well, there are other countries, of course, but I speak here as a Sierra Leonean. Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make is that when the British and the the British and the Americans met in Paris, Americans were pretty mad. They didn't even want to talk to the British. However, they had this business relationship between Sir Richard Oswald, the Englishman who led the UK Convention of 4 to unite to France, and similarly, Henry Lawrence went along with Benjamin Franklin and I think John Jay, and there was a fourth person. But the point I'm trying to make is that these two guys, because of the relationship, the partnership they have from selling Sierra Leonean slaves, were able to influence America's political outcome. Do you see the picture I'm trying to draw? Yeah. Okay. It doesn't stop there. You may have heard of the Gullers, right? The Gullers are a unique group of African Americans that live along the coast of Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and so forth. They are unique because they have kept their African ancestry more than any other group of African Americans in this country. Yes? And those people have deep Sierra Leonean roots. There are people that we call Mohammed, Amadu, Bintu, Fatmata in South Carolina. They cook with, they have mataudo and matapensis. Now I'm serious, the golas are there in South Carolina. You can visit them at any time. And the point I'm trying to make to you again is that there's a third relationship within these golas. In fact, in 1997, a family from Harris Neck, Georgia went to Sierra Leone. You know why? Because over 250 years, they had been singing the song. They didn't know what the heck the song meant, but they kept singing it over and over and over. But to make the long story short, ethnomusicologist and a friend of mine called Joe Opala and the Tazif Koroma, who lives in Sierra Leone, a linguist, were able to find the origin of the song. It was a Mende song. And it was titled The Language Ukraine. Do you want me to sing it for you?
Yes.
No, I can't do that. But this song that was taken from Sierra Leone 250 years earlier is still being sung in African American culture. From mother or grandmother to daughter, it's come down the line. Up till today, they sing it in Harris Neck, Georgia. There is also something else called the Black Loyalists. Who's familiar with the Black Loyalists? Okay, the Black Loyalists are a group of African Americans that ran away from their slaves, slave masters or owners, and fought alongside the British during the American Revolutionary War. Of course, you know the British lost. Yes. So when the British lost, Americans asked them back for these black loyalists, but the British said, no, we cannot do that. We'll promise these guys their freedom. So they took them to Nova Scotia. Yeah? So from Nova Scotia, they went to Freetown, Sierra Leone after a few years because one of them went to England and sought help, which the British came and picked about 1,200 of them, take them to Sierra Leone, and they founded Freetown. These were Americans. Some of them even were Americans from Sierra Leone. I mean, were Sierra Leoneans who came and went back, like a guy called John Kizel. But that's another story. So that's the fourth point I've made so far with regard to our relationship between Sierra Leone and America. The fifth one, the Amistad. Who knows about the Amistad? Okay, the Amistad again were slaves that overpowered their masters on a boat, and they were brought to Connecticut, well, New York first and then Connecticut, and they were tried, and they were given their freedom, and they were taken back to Sierra Leone. It was one of the first human rights cases in the country. And it was the one that brought the abolitionist movements together. There were many different abolitionists, everyone doing their own thing, but this particular case brought them all together, and they took them back to Sierra Leone. And they also started the missionary work. You guys know of missionaries? The missionaries were the groups of Americans who went back to Sierra Leone and taught people in the provincial areas. They also founded Albert Academy.
I know this is very interesting, and you know, but
I'm almost done.
Yeah, we're running out of time. That's
I'm almost done. Shall let me talk earlier? Yeah, now we stole my thunder.
I stole your thunder. I'm sorry.
But anyway, Amistad again brought the mission. That's why I'm trying to speak fast too. The missionaries went to Sierra Leone and formed a relationship that's been going on forever. Yes. And last but not least, you've heard about DNA Sierra Leoneans or DNA Nigerians or DNA Liberians. Well, to date, 1/3 of all African Americans that have done their DNA test points towards Sierra Leone, either through their maternal line or their paternal line. So I'm making these points to tell America, am I on TV? I want Barack Obama to see this too. That America should be focusing not only on Liberia, but also Sierra Leone, because as I have proven, we can show that we have a strong relationship by far than any other African nation. And I say this amicably with no threats. Thank you.